Have you ever gone to bed telling yourself, tomorrow is the day I'll wake up early, only to hit the snooze button the moment your alarm rings? You pull the blanket a little tighter, whisper, just 5 more minutes. And before you know it, those 5 minutes turn into 30. Suddenly you're rushing through your morning, skipping important tasks, feeling stressed before the day has even begun. By nighttime, you're exhausted, wondering why your goals always seem just out of reach. Most people believe success belongs to those who are born with extraordinary talent, endless opportunities, or plenty of money. But what if the real difference between an average life and an exceptional one starts long before the rest of the world opens its eyes? What if the quiet hours before sunrise hold a power that most people never experience? Today, I want to share a story that completely changed the way I think about mornings. This isn't another lecture about waking up early. It's a story about discipline, hidden opportunities, and a simple habit that has transformed the lives of countless successful people throughout history. Welcome, everyone. My name is Ivan, and you're watching Zarin Tales, the place where every story carries a lesson that stays with you long after it's over. If you enjoy inspiring stories filled with meaningful life lessons, you're exactly where you belong. So get comfortable, clear your mind, and let this journey remind you why every sunrise offers a brand new chance to change your life. Far away from crowded streets and busy cities stood a peaceful little village called Green Hollow. Rolling green fields stretched to the horizon, ancient trees swayed gently in the breeze, and a crystal-clear river flowed quietly beside the homes. Every morning, birds greeted the sunrise with beautiful songs, yet most of the villagers never heard them because they were still fast asleep. Among them lived a 20-year-old young man named Liam. Like many dreamers, Liam imagined a brighter future. He wanted to build a comfortable home for his parents, grow the finest crops in the village, and earn the respect of everyone around him. His dreams were big, but his actions never matched them. Every evening, Liam spoke passionately about everything he planned to accomplish. But every morning, he remained in bed until the sun was already high in the sky. Whenever someone asked why his life wasn't improving, he always found another excuse. I need better tools. I need more money. I'm just waiting for the right opportunity. I don't have enough time. On the third attempt, he even asked his younger sister to wake him. She shook his shoulder again and again. Liam, wake up. Still half asleep, he mumbled, just 1 more minute. When he finally opened his eyes, another sunrise had already slipped away. Samuel never criticized him. He never raised his voice. Instead, he shared a sentence Liam would never forget. The first battle you fight every day isn't against the world. It's against yourself. Those words echoed through Liam's mind for the rest of the day. That evening, instead of making another empty promise, Liam changed something much more important. He went to bed earlier. He stopped wasting hours talking late into the night. He put away every distraction. For the first time in years, he gave himself enough rest. The next morning, something remarkable happened. Before the alarm could ring, Liam opened his eyes naturally. Outside, the village looked completely different. The air felt crisp and clean. The sky glowed with soft shades of orange and pink. Everything was peaceful except for the gentle songs of birds welcoming a new day. For the first time in years, Liam witnessed a sunrise. Samuel was already waiting. You made it. Together they walked toward the fields. As they crossed the grass, Samuel pointed toward tiny drops of morning dew resting on the leaves. Look closely. They're beautiful, Liam whispered. Samuel nodded. When the sun rises higher, these drops disappear forever. Some blessings only exist for those who wake up early. As they continued walking, Liam noticed something else. A broken fence had collapsed during the night. Samuel repaired it before any animals wandered into crops. A narrow irrigation channel had become blocked. He cleared it before the plants lost their water. Several young plants had begun bending under their own weight. He tied them upright before they snapped. Liam suddenly understood. None of these were major problems. But left alone for just a little longer, each one could have become a disaster. Samuel smiled. Mornings don't eliminate problems. They simply give you the chance to solve small ones before they become big ones. Those words changed everything. From that day forward, Liam welcomed every sunrise. Soon he discovered the true gift of early mornings. It wasn't about having more hours. Everyone gets the same 24 hours. The difference was that those early hours belonged entirely to him. No interruptions, no distractions, no unnecessary noise. His mind stayed clear. He planned his day with purpose. He focused on the work that mattered most before anyone else had even begun theirs. Week after week, month after month, his crops became healthier. His family noticed he smiled more often. He stopped complaining. He carried himself with confidence and energy. One afternoon, villagers gathered in the marketplace, amazed by Liam's transformation. He's so lucky. He must have discovered some secret. Liam simply smiled, because now he knew the truth. Luck had very little to do with it. Discipline had changed everything. Not long afterward, a traveler arrived in Green Hollow and asked the villagers a simple question. Who is the richest man here? Without hesitation, everyone pointed toward Samuel. The traveler looked surprised. But his home is so simple. An elderly villager smiled and replied, "Real wealth isn't measured by the size of a house. It's measured by the peace in your heart, the strength of your character, and the habits that quietly build a better life every single day." And perhaps that was the greatest lesson of all. The most valuable opportunities don't always arrive with loud announcements. Sometimes they rise quietly with the sun, waiting only for someone willing to wake up and meet them. The traveler frowned in confusion. If Samuel is the richest man in the village, then where is his treasure? An elderly villager smiled and quietly replied, "His treasure isn't locked inside his house." Curious, the traveler walked over to Samuel and asked, "Then tell me, where do you keep your greatest treasure?" Samuel slowly raised his hand and pointed toward the eastern horizon, where the first light of dawn was beginning to appear. "My treasure rises every single morning." The traveler laughed. "I don't see anything." Samuel smiled gently. "Exactly, and that's why most people never become truly rich." Liam stood nearby, listening to every word. That simple conversation stayed with him long after the sun had risen. For the first time, he realized something most people spend their entire lives overlooking. Every sunrise is free. Every person receives the same 24 hours, but only a few choose to use the most valuable part of them. Nearly a year later, Green Hollow faced its greatest challenge. The rain stopped. Week after week, dark clouds disappeared, rivers shrank, and the land slowly began to dry out. Farmers watched their fields with fear as cracks spread across the soil. Many blamed bad luck. Others blamed nature. Some simply accepted defeat before the real fight had even begun. But Liam reacted differently. Because he built a habit of walking through his fields before sunrise every day, he noticed the warning signs long before anyone else. He spotted tiny cracks before they became deep fractures. He repaired leaking irrigation channels before precious water was lost. He covered the soil to lock in moisture and carefully rationed every drop he had. While others waited until the damage was impossible to ignore, Liam had already been preparing for weeks. By the end of the season, most farms had suffered devastating losses. Liam's field, however, continued producing enough food not only for his own family, but also for several of his struggling neighbors. People began calling him wise. Some even believed he possessed extraordinary luck. But Liam knew neither was true. His greatest advantage had never been luck. It was consistency. It was a simple decision to meet every sunrise with purpose. One quiet evening, Liam finally asked Samuel, "If this lesson is so powerful, why don't you simply tell everyone?" Samuel smiled, his weathered face filled with kindness. Because advice is easy to hear, but wisdom only belongs to those willing to live it. Those words became another lesson Liam would never forget. Years passed. Samuel grew older, his hair turned completely white, and his steps became slower. Then one peaceful morning, he called Liam to his home. "I have one final gift for you." Liam's heart raced. Perhaps Samuel was leaving him his land, or maybe the savings he had built over a lifetime. Instead, Samuel placed an old wooden clock into his hands. Its glass was cracked. Its hands had stopped moving years ago. Liam looked puzzled. "It doesn't even work." Samuel nodded. "I know." "Then why give it to me?" Samuel gently rested his hand over Liam's heart. Because success never came from that clock. He paused before saying, "It came from the one inside you." For a moment, Liam said nothing. Then he finally understood. The clock hanging on a wall can tell you what time it is, but only the clock inside your heart decides what you do with that time. Real success isn't controlled by alarms. It's built by discipline. A few months later, Samuel passed away peacefully, but his lessons never disappeared. Every morning before sunrise, Liam remembered the man who had changed his life forever. As the years went by, young children began asking Liam the very same question he had once asked Samuel. "What is your secret?" Liam never talked about luck. He never spoke about magic. He simply smiled and said, "Meet me tomorrow before sunrise." Many never showed up. Some came once and never returned. But a small handful stayed. Those few slowly transformed their own lives. Years later, Green Hollow became famous throughout the region. Visitors admired the healthy farms, the disciplined workers, and the peaceful community. Many believed the village had richer soil or a better climate. But the real answer was much simpler. The people had learned to respect the first hours of every day. Their greatest harvest never began in the fields. It began before the sun rose. And that was the secret hidden in plain sight all along. Now, let me speak to you for just a moment. The first time I heard this story, I thought it was simply encouraging people to wake up early. But the deeper I looked, the more I realized it wasn't really about mornings at all. It was about becoming the kind of person who keeps promises to themselves. Every sunrise quietly asks the same question. Will you choose comfort or will you choose growth? Most people spend years waiting for one life-changing opportunity. The truth is, life rarely changes overnight. It changes through small decisions repeated day after day. That's exactly what researchers have found about habits. Studies on behavior show that lasting success usually isn't the result of one dramatic moment. It's the product of consistent routines practiced over time. The smallest daily actions often create the biggest long-term results. Successful people don't wake up early because they're naturally more motivated. They wake up early because they protect the quietest, most focused hours of their day. That single habit gives them time to think, plan, learn, and grow before the world's distractions begin. This story changed me as well. I stopped treating mornings like something I had to survive. I started seeing them as an investment in the person I wanted to become. Even on difficult days, I know I've already won my first battle simply by getting out of bed with purpose. So, don't wait until you feel motivated. Don't wait for the perfect mood. Respect the first hour of your day. Protect it. Use it wisely. Because one ordinary morning may become the moment your entire life quietly begins to change, even if nobody else notices. If this story gave you a new perspective, be sure to subscribe to Zarin Tales and join a community where every story leaves you with a lesson you can carry into real life. And before you go, don't miss the next story about why comparing yourself to others quietly steals your happiness, your confidence, and your peace of mind. I have a feeling that lesson might change your life just as much as today's. Until next time, take care, and I'll see you in the next story.